Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining me today to our quarterly webinar. It's been a while since we have done our last webinar, and I want to reiterate how much we appreciate you being TipRanks users. And we invest a lot of time and resources and a lot of who we are into making TipRanks better. And the reason we do so is because we are investors ourselves and we understand the pain and the challenges that retail investors have. And um, again, our motivation to do a better and better is having these calls with our beloved users and seeing you benefit and enjoy our services. So before we jump into all the latest and greatest innovations that we've implemented and sharing with you how to benefit from them, I wanted to share with you first that we had an amazing 6 month. The first half of the year was very volatile in the markets, and it looked like many people have been looking for ways to navigate the market while the market was jumpy with all the economic uncertainties. And this really fueled our team to go out with more and more exciting products and innovations. Also, a few months ago, we have acquired a data company from Seattle called Main Street Data, and I will soon show you how we leverage what they do. But basically, they're a very unique data company that collects information from press releases and earnings related to companies' KPIs of specific companies. And because we are in the data space, and because we are doubling down on AI, we wanted to make sure that we have the best data in place. So let's jump in and look at all the exciting things that you can now use as TipRanks users. Okay, so you're probably familiar with this page. This is our dashboard. One of the things, by the way, that you may have noticed is that we've added more and more news coverage, both to the stock articles and to the stock market news. As a matter of fact, because we own a breaking news company in the US called The Fly on the Wall, we are probably the most comprehensive news platform at this point. We cover every stock. We have people sitting in trading floors. And basically, there's not a piece of news that goes out on social media or trading floors that is not currently available on our platform. But that is not what we wanted to talk about today. What I wanted to show you today is a lot of the exciting things that have been developed. And as you can imagine, a lot of it is around AI. So we believe that AI is here to stay. And as so, we wanted to make sure that we are at the front of all the AI innovation. So I think every decision that we've been making, one second. Yeah. It wasn't sharing. And we're trying to share our screen and are running into a few technical issues, so be patient with us. It isn't sharing? No. So, okay, so we have Yotal with us sharing. But do you see it from there? Okay. Is it okay now? You sure? Wonderful. Okay, really sorry about that technical issue. So, one second. Let's have Yotal. So maybe I'll introduce Yotal as well. Yotal, come and say hi. So Yotal is actually our product marketing manager, and she has arranged this webinar and is helping us with all the technical issues. So thank you, Yotal, for arranging everything. Maybe it makes sense to be here just in case there are other technical issues that I'm not. Okay. So going back to TipRanks, can you still see it now that I switched screens?
Yeah.
Okay. So going back to reiterating on what I said before, we have added more and more news coverage to our platform. Basically, I believe that there is not one single newsworthy item out there, and that can be an earning report, an impactful post on social media, or anything that is not getting coverage on our platform, and you can all benefit from it as users. Going back to what I said about AI, that is definitely the area that we decided to invest in most. It's here to stay. And we want to be sure that all our users can benefit from it, just like all the institutional investors do. So let's look at a company. One of my favorite companies and one of the most trending companies on TipRanks in terms of users searching for the stock is Robinhood. When we go into the Robinhood page, you will see that we enhanced the stock overview page. We always had the Robinhood Smart Score, where you can click here and you can see a quantitative score of why Robinhood is a 9 out of a 10. And that is nothing new. It's been around for a while, and it's one of our most popular tools. A few things that we've added is the ability to download the company's deck. It is fetched from the investor relationship site on Robinhood. And then you can also hear the earning call on that goes out every quarter. So for instance, if you search for JP Morgan, who reported yesterday their earnings, you can already hear the earning calls where their CEO, Jamie Dimon, talked about what the future for JP Morgan can look like. So speed is essential for TipRanks, and we try to be the first one out there with earnings. But what's even more important is that most of our users know us for what analysts are saying. We are the most comprehensive database for different analysts. One of the issues, though, is that us, the retail investors, many times don't get access to the actual research reports of analysts. So it's nice that Citi analyst recommends to buy or to sell a stock, but sometimes there is a need for context. Why does he recommend to buy or sell a stock? The way we solve this is by using AI and simulating what any analyst is actually saying. And so for those who have not been following TipRanks for the last few months, the biggest announcement that we made was to create our own AI analyst research. It's been something that we have worked on for the last year or so. And the idea is to empower our users with data-driven research. So if you look at a company like Robinhood, you can click here on where it says AI stock analysis, and it should cover most of the companies in the US. So in opposed to human sell-side analysts that are very limited with the amount of research that they can cover, today with TipRanks, you get comprehensive analyst research for stocks, even for penny stocks. The way we do it is we analyze all the corporate filing, the earning calls, news, press releases, company announcements, even social media, and internal factors. And by doing so, we conclude the stock's rating compared to its peers and the price target of the 12-month price target for every stock. If you go into the actual research, you can read here the reasoning behind the company's rating and price target. And you can read a bit about a short summary of why is that a 72, why this stock can outperform, and why is the price target 104. For instance, with Robinhood, there are many positive factors like the financial performance, the global expansion, the innovation that they're known for. On the negative side, there is a lot of market uncertainty, and the market valuation reflects a very high P ratio for next year and the year after. You can get a chart, but that's something that you can get anyway on TipRanks. Some of the other things that you can get here is the more qualitative analysis, the company description, and a short description on how what is their business model and how do they monetize all their users. And this is where it gets really exciting. One of the things that you can see now with TipRanks, which is exclusive to TipRanks, is a company's KPIs. This is something that unless you have a Bloomberg or a Capital IQ, you cannot find elsewhere. So what we show here, and one of the data points that we in factor, maybe let me make my screen a bit smaller. One of the data sets, the unique data sets that we in factor into the company's analyst research, the AI analyst research, is companies' unique KPIs. So for instance, if you look at a company like Tesla, and if you look at a company like, let's say, ExxonMobil, and then you look at a company like Robinhood, they all have similar cash flow standards, right? They're all going to talk about the revenue, the operating margins, the EBITDA, and all that. But the truth is that each company should be valued very differently because they all have different KPIs. ExxonMobil cares about oil prices. Tesla cares about how many cars they sold or how many supercharger stations they have installed. Robinhood or Netflix, they care about other things, right? So Robinhood cares about how many monthly users do they have. This is not something that you can find on retail platforms usually. They care about how many users are Robinhood Gold subscribers. So this is information that retail investors can now use via the AI analyst research. It's interactive. And usually these KPIs correlate with the stock price. You can even click here on the stock price, and you can see the very nice correlation between the quarterly Robinhood Gold subscription and the price of the stock, which went up accordingly. You can see what is their AUM, which is something that many banks look at. So you can see that there was a drop in March compared to December. My guess, and of course, it is only a guess because they have not reported yet, is that it will grow up in the next quarter. But the idea is that you can see the net deposits, you can see a lot of the interesting KPIs, and you can see them all in one place. But let's say you don't want to spend all this time on analyzing the data. Eventually, we will use AI to crunch it all and come back with a one score and one price target. So let's continue reviewing this analyst research report. We do a quantitative analysis on the financial statement. So we will look at the income statement, on the balance sheet, and on the cash flow. And we give each one of these tables an analysis and a score. So their income statement gets a 75, which is positive. Balance sheet is a 68, which is positive, and the cash flow is 60. You can get all the information here. We do a technical analysis and give you the technical factors. We grade them as well. Everything here gets a quantitative grade and eventually is incorporated into the score. And we also analyze the risk. And this is something that we talked a bit before if you were on previous webinars. What TipRanks does really well is we analyze data and we make sure that our data is accurate. One of the interesting data sets out there is when you look at a earning report, or as it's called it's also referred to as a 10K or quarterly reports, which are 10Q. A big part of these, a long and boring part of these reports is called risk factors. What we do is we analyze all the risks that are disclosed in these reports, and we can see what risks are companies more exposed to or less. So for instance, you can see that with Robinhood, they don't have any finance or tech concerns. They have some compliance concerns. They're very good. They're not concerned on any macro or political or their ability to sell. Their only concern is legal. And that's actually pretty good compared to other companies. You can also see a short summary of what their legal team has disclosed. You can see their overall rating compared to other companies in the space. You can see they're actually ranked pretty high, but not as well as a Square or Toast. And you can see a 12-month comparison with their competitors. And what you can also see here is you can see their corporate events. And after they will report earnings, one of the other things that you will see, which you cannot see now, is also an analysis of their earning calls. Let's look at, for instance, JP Morgan. Maybe we can find it there. I'm saying that because JP Morgan reported yesterday. So I see we don't have it here as well. Maybe it's because it was yesterday and it should take some time to report. So going back to how we started this, the most important thing that TipRanks is now focused on is AI. And every future product that we would develop would be in ways where we can uh, leverage AI to simplify things either visually or textually. Some other ways we use AI, which we looked at before, is also with this tab here called bulls and bears, which is kind of similar to the positive factors and negative factors. Some other things that are new to TipRanks and we went out to, one of them is a portfolio. So this is a product that we've had for a while, and it is probably one of our most popular products. We have over 100,000 users that use this every day and more than 800,000 active portfolios on this. For those who are not using it, this is highly recommended. You can either sync your portfolio with your existing broker, or you can create a manual portfolio. It gives you a lot of insights. It gives you an analysis of your portfolio. You can get crowd-based insights on how do you perform compared to what others are buying that you may consider. And some of the other things that we've recently added is the ability to read all the news related to your portfolio. And again, we have all this news that you can see that just from the last hour we got, or from the last few hours, we got so many updates on each one of our holdings. So this is also a very powerful solution. You can create here different columns of the information that you want. So if you want something very basic and simple, you can choose only a few different columns, but you can also add here all these signals and get all the information flowing to you like a professional trader. And this was built in a way that would personalize everything for our users. So you can get an overview, you can get the TipRanks Essentials with all the data signals that we have, an analysis of the holdings, the performance of each holding, dividends, earnings, and technical analysis. So I highly recommend to check it. This is not a new product, but we have invested a lot in the first 2 quarters to improve it and make it more simple, and of course to improve the performance of this in terms of speed. A few other exciting things that we developed that we will finish with. So we had a So we had a hackathon at TipRanks where all the product managers met with the engineers and came up with different ideas. One of the ideas that came up in the hackathon, and we recently released it, and we see that it is interesting for investors in terms of engagement, at the Trump dashboard. So as you all know, Trump has a lot to say, and he uses his own social platform called Truth Social to say it. And if investors used to rely mostly on analysts to make investment decisions, there's a huge audience of investors that are basically sitting now on social media and looking for ways to outperform the market. What we did over here is we started taking all the information from Truth Social, and using AI, we started analyzing it and giving real-time indications to our users of whether or not, what has Trump just said. What is a sentiment? We call it Trumpy and grumpy. Is it positive or negative? And we all know that when Trump writes something, and it can be bashing the EV industry or endorsing the streaming industry. And whenever he does that, stocks can go up 10% or 20%. And it's a great opportunity to benefit from this, or at least cost losses if he's getting into a cat fight with Elon Musk. So basically what you see here is that from a few minutes ago, Trump just tweeted something related to Secretary of Energy. And if you want to read the full tweet, you can read it here. You can see that the post, not tweet, was done in a positive sentiment. So we will also analyze the sentiment itself and tell you if this is good news or bad news. You can see here for which sector, and here you can actually click to see which securities are likely to be impacted from this tweet. So if you were on our platform, let's say 40 minutes ago, and you saw this in real time, you would have been able to buy one of these ETFs or other energy products, and maybe to do a quick profit from it. You can screen this dashboard if you want to see only negative tweets. Let's say you're a short seller, and you can choose only positive if you're a long buyer. And it's just another innovative way to use AI to analyze all this big data and crunch it for the users and help them make better trades. Again, our goal is to level the playing field. We really want our users to gain access to the same level of information in terms of accuracy and in speed that institutional investors are benefiting from. Last but not least, over the last two quarters, we have released some exciting premium newsletters. So if you've been with TipRanks for the last years, we had this newsletter called Smart Investor. This is used by thousands of our users, and the performance of the newsletter has been great. We have also improved it a lot by creating dedicated pages inside TipRanks where Smart Investor subscribers can actually see the watch list of the portfolio that is done by the analyst who manages the smart portfolio. This is not done by a computer. Actually, this is done by human analysts. And over the years, we've added to the Smart Investor also Smart Dividend, and it has also become very successful. In the last few quarters, in the last few months, in the last 2 quarters, we have also added a newsletter dedicated for growth stocks and a newsletter dedicated for value investors. And so I encourage you to come to the newsletter page, which you can do through the Ideas tab. Go to Pro Newsletters and read a bit about it. No commitment from either side. See if it's interesting, if it's in line with your investment strategy. Last but not least, and this is only for our US users, if you live in the US, you can now, and this is also a big exciting announcement, you can now trade through TipRanks directly on your TradeStation account. So actually, if you go to the Smart Portfolio, you can open a TradeStation account. Yeah, if I were now presenting this from the US, you would see that this is only TradeStation. You can connect directly to TradeStation. You can get a lot of perks for signing up to TradeStation, and you can do all the Smart Portfolio trades directly on from your TipRanks Smart Portfolio account and from different pages. So if you go to an Apple page or NVIDIA page or Microsoft, you're going to have a small button that allows you to add this to your TradeStation portfolio. These are the big things that we have added over the last 2 quarters. And I want to take the rest of the time to answer some of the questions that you've been sending during this session. And hopefully we can make your life a bit easier. So let me stop the sharing and start looking at the questions. Okay, so how can I use TipRanks to find microcap stocks? Okay, so let me share my screen again. So the easiest way to find microcap stocks is going to Tools, and under Tools you have, hold on. So actually it's going to be under, we have here an area with different screeners. So let's look, you go to screeners, and then under screeners, you go to penny stock screener. And here we can actually find all the different companies that are microcap. You can choose a sector. You can filter them based on what analysts, it's still a dark screen. Sorry. Hold on, we're having some more technical issues.
Okay, it's good.
It's good now? Okay. Wonderful. So let me show this again. So you have on the tab, you have on the navigation bar, you have a tab called Screeners. You simply click here on where it says Penny Stock Screener. You can choose a sector. You can choose the price target. So let's say I'm looking only for penny stock companies in the, let's say, healthcare sector, or the basic materials or technology, and I'm looking only for companies that have an analyst upside of above 20%, or companies that have a smart score of 8 to 9 smart score, and that basically creates a short list of companies that you can now add. You can save this. You can open it in a screener. And this is basically how you can generate more and more ideas around microcap stocks. Let's see what other questions we have. How do you use TipRanks tools evolving? Okay, so how do you see the TipRanks tools evolving over the next year? So as I mentioned, we are doubling down on AI. Everything that we are doing is around AI. One of the exciting things that I've shown today is the analyst research. And what we're planning to do, we believe that in 10 years, there are probably not going to be any more human research. There is no need. Computers can analyze things much quicker and much more accurately, and they are 100% data driven. So what we're doing is we're taking the AI analysts that we've created, but we're starting to apply it on more and more LLMs. Our current version is based on OpenAI, but what we plan to do is we plan to add more LLMs, such as a Claude and Perplexity and Gemini and others. And over time, we're also planning to measure and rank these analysts. We're already measuring them, but it takes time until we can see who is good. We would need a few quarters for that. But in a year from today, I would imagine that we would already have different analysts based on different languages that would give ratings and forecasts for different stocks. And again, like everything in TipRanks, it would be based on transparency. So you can see who is good and who is not good in different industries. We imagine that some languages would be good for specific industries, let's say technology or pharma or healthcare, and others are going to be good for other industries. And of course, our users would be able to make, again, decisions that are based on measured data. So let's see what else. What is the biggest challenge retail investors face over the next few years? I think that the biggest challenge that investors are facing is actually being exposed to a lot of social media misleading experts. One of the reasons that we started TipRanks is because we felt that analysts are sometimes misleading retail investors. We all know what happened in the early 2000s, where banks were caught giving recommendations to retail investors from the outside, but in internal documents showing a different opinion. And that is what we tried to solve with our financial accountability engine. Now, with social media being so popular and so influential on retail investors, we see more and more frauds. And with AI, we believe that it's even going to accelerate with fake accounts and fake videos, which is why we are big believers in our philosophy, which is to measure and rank and to be the one source of financial accountability. And so I think that investors need to be more and more cautious as AI evolves and is not yet regulated enough. Which TipRanks tools do you think is most underutilized by users? So one of my favorite tools personally, and the tools that the two tools that I use the most when I make investment decisions, and I invest quite a lot, it's my passion, is basically the top smart score stocks. This is, and as you can see, we measure the performance of this every day. So when the stocks went down in early 2025 with the Trump tariff, this has went down, this has declined as well. And you can see here the drop in 2020 when COVID hit and everybody started working from home. So basically what you see here is the stocks that have received the best smart score out there. And again, Smart Score is a data-driven tool. It's not anybody's opinions. It incorporates new sentiments and stocks that hedge funds are buying and stocks that analysts are very positive about. And you can also filter this to choose only big companies in specific sectors. And you can also remove stocks that have been here for long enough time. You can see, for instance, that there are no financial companies that are big. So like the JP Morgans of the world, there are no companies that currently have a Smart Score of 10. But the way I look at it is I look at my portfolio and I'm trying to be as diversified as I can. So I know I'm very exposed to tech stocks. Now I want some healthcare or energy or utilities. So I'm going to choose a sector and I can decide if I want a large cap, a mid cap, or a small cap. And then I'm going to go with one of the stocks that have a Smart Score of 10. Anyway, this is one of my favorite tools. Obviously, we have many of these. Another tool that I feel that not enough users are using, but at least I, on a personal level, use it enough, is Top Insider Stocks. Basically, what we do here is we analyze what is called the Form 4. So if a corporate insider, let's say Mark Zuckerberg, decides to buy or to sell shares in the company, he would need to disclose it to the SEC. We analyze these reports and we use technology, and then we can see which companies, if there are any companies that a lot of corporate insiders are buying in. Then if you can see companies that, many C-level executives that know better than us what's going on in their companies are buying shares, then usually it's a very strong signal. So let's look, for instance, on Civista Bank shares, which is a company I don't know. But if I click on it, I will see here that a lot of corporate insiders have bought the stocks. One of the things that we can also do is we can ask to show only informative and non-informative transactions. So you can see, for instance, that a director has bought stocks a few months ago for $137,000. So maybe this is not such a good example because the amount is not significant. And what will happen is that we'll go back here and I will see if there are other examples. So you can use this tool to find stocks that corporate insiders seem to believe in enough and buy the shares, and sometimes it's a very positive signal. CFOs don't buy shares of their own company unless they strongly believe in that company. So let's maybe choose another question. So one question that came up is, do the Smart Score use top analysts or all analysts? This is a great question, and I'm thankful for whoever just asked this. We use all analysts for the Smart Score. So we can probably ask, why not just use a top analyst? But what we did here is we basically, and to explain this question, when you go to the analyst tab, so let's say we're looking at Robinhood, you can see that the price target is $88, and there are 20 analysts that are covering it with a moderate buy. You can see that we have a button here that filters all the underperforming analysts. And when we filter out all the underperforming analysts, the analysts that have less than 4 stars, which have underperformed their peers, then the price target goes up. This is a premium feature. When we looked at the overview, ironically, we saw that when measuring all the analyst consensus for this specific stock scoring, it performed better than when we chose only the top analysts, which is the reason that all analysts are included in the Smart Score. What is the basic for TipRanks price target for a stock? I'm not sure I understand this question. What is the basis for TipRanks target? I'm not sure I understand what is the question. We basically take here analyst forecasts. We aggregate all the analysts that are covering the stocks, and then we will calculate the average of these price targets. We will show the highest price target and the lowest one, and here you can see the average. You will note that we've added the TipRanks AI here, but that is because, and if you click on it, it will take you to the AI research. At some point, we're going to have more and more TipRanks AIs, and it's going to move to a separate one. When we assume, if the question referred to our price target, meaning the AI analyst, then the way we do it is we look at the rating of the company compared to their peers, and then we will decide on the price target based on the score compared to the peers. Do you think investors today are more informed or more overwhelmed by the amount of data available? This is another very good questions. I appreciate all the good questions that you're asking today. I think that investors is a very broad terms. We need to remember that there is no one type of investors. We have a lot of new investors that joined over the last few years. We see that 25% of the population in the US today invest in the capital markets. Then we have intermediate investors, and then we have professional investors. I think that for new investors, some platforms can be overwhelming. And probably that's why many of them are opening accounts in platforms like eToro or Robinhood or Webull, or maybe not Webull, but that is because the platforms are very simple. Then when you look at more serious investors that are not here to buy some meme stocks and have fun, but really want to invest and build their wealth over the next few decades, then there is no such thing as excessive information. You can organize it and decide what's important for you. So I think that depending on which investor you are and how you look at long-term investment, some platforms can be overwhelming. But from my point of view, you can never have enough or too much information before you make such an important decision as investing your wealth in something that can go up or down. I think that is, let me stop the sharing. I think that that basically concludes today's sessions. I want to thank you again for joining us and your patience with some of the technical issues that we have. And we promise to do better next time, and of course to do more of these webinars. Again, we want to thank you all for joining us today and for being happy TipRanks users. And of course, we're always happy to learn more, to do better. So if you do have feedback, suggestions, or think that you believe we can do better, please reach out to our support. We read everything that you write. Our support forwards us, like management reads everything. So thanks again, and we hope to see you on the next webinar as well. Take care.